Together on three. 1, 2, 3. Together.
Welcome back to Suns Valley Podcast, everybody. Last night, Jordan Ott and his new look, newly aligned team won their first game together versus the Kings. And while this iteration of Sacramento is seen as a lesser version of itself from years past, they certainly didn't play like that in this game. Whether or not the Kings will be bottom feeders this season in the West, I'm not really sure. But I do know that they damn near played to the fullest extent of their capabilities versus the Suns. I dare say that they represented an actual good NBA team last night, at least in the first half, going up 71-54. DeMar DeRozan and Zach LaVine were insane, and Malik Monk could not miss. Honestly, none of them could miss. If you've been watching the Suns the last few seasons, you know that they don't normally come back from leads like the one they were facing. Normally, they just pack it up and make excuses in the post-game presser. However, much like the first matchup in China versus the Nets, the Suns just stayed focused, stayed intense. They stayed interested and confident that they could chip away at a huge lead, largely created by insane shooting, this time from the Kings. And everything changed in the third quarter where the Suns outpaced the Kings 36-21 to be down only 2, 92-90. At that point, you could just start to tell that everything that's been preached and promised as far as toughness, pride, and playing a full 48 minutes was actually coming to fruition, at least here in their first opportunity to do so. And so far, that's all you can ask for. Let's start with Dillon Brooks because Suns fans got the entire DB experience in one game. Though I have hated on him in the past, I knew he would absolutely be a positive for this team. He plays so hard and with so much intensity that it bleeds into his teammates' brains and they just can't help but mimic his energy. Much like what Phoenix wanted to get out of Jimmy Butler, and somewhat like what they had from Chris Paul, or even Jay Crowder. My only fear is that I remember all too well when he was with the Grizzlies. It seemed like he would forget that he's a super role player and not a superstar. 9 for 24 from the field basically says it all. I simply do not prefer him taking 5 more shots in a game than Devin Booker. However, as mad as we all collectively were in the chat at his bad shooting in the first half, I think his performance was an overall positive and helped Phoenix win its first in as many games. He got into it with DeRozan, and while he didn't seem to be too negatively affected by the antagonization, I do believe that other stars in this league on other nights will have problems with it going forward. It could easily win us a few games that we otherwise wouldn't, just because Dillon's able to get into other people's heads and make them play off. This video is brought to you by our presenting sponsor, FanDuel. Sundo and I will be using FanDuel Sports all season for every bet and parlay, and so should you. Sign up today and start winning money on the Suns. Grayson Allen and Royce O'Neal each shot 3 for 7 from 3, and the Suns definitely could not have won without them. Grayson's playing really well through the preseason in the first game, and it seems like he's handling his more on-ball role really well, while Jalen Green's still out. Then you have Mark Williams. Now, his stats were not outrageous, though I would argue 12 rebounds is great considering the minutes restriction that he was on. 9 points though from the big man. You want and expect more, but you can already tell that everything we thought about him is true. He's going to be exactly what the Suns need as a starter at the position, so it does make sense that keeping him healthy seems to be the coaching staff's prime objective. Him and Devin Booker need a little bit more time to gel as far as throwing lobs and stuff, but when that starts showing up, it's going to be fun. But he's just so big, he rebounds the ball so well, it's like the ball desires to be in his hands after it misses. And he had a couple of blocked shots that really wowed the crowd. And as far as the star of the team, Devin Booker, he had an up and down game, but I do feel like it was mostly up. 30 points on 10 for 19 shooting, and outside of missing 5 free throws, including a crazy uncharacteristic 3 in a row missed, I was really pleased with his performance. Performance that was capped off by what essentially was a game winner over Dennis Schroeder. After one game, I am pleased to report that the Phoenix Suns are indeed a fun team to watch again. And that's good for the entire NBA, whether they want it or not. Tell us what you guys thought of the Suns' first win of the season, and you know we'll see you guys soon for the next live stream Friday night.